So again, thank you.
Thank you for having me on, Brother Pritchett, Ms. Pritchett, and I hope to be able to, well, I know you'll call on me, and I'll be there.
yeah.
You just call me,
Yes,
and I'll be
we're
there.
going to do that.
Thank you.
You know, we have two other guests with us, and you know, I'm from Wilmington, and I really am inspired when I see the two young men to my right here. And I found out talking with you, I think you were talking to my wife Friday night or Saturday, that you also attended Bancroft School,
Oh, yes.
which blew my mind because I did not know that back during the time before I was there. And I thought that was interesting. But in any event, we're talking about Wilmington, Delaware, and the rich history. And a lot of people don't know the rich history about Wilmington, Delaware. They come in and they're doing things now, but somebody set the tone.
Yes, Lord.
And you know, Judge Leonard L. Williams is one of them who set the tone, and as well as Judge Lewis L. Redding. But in any event, I'm going to start down here with my right, and you're going to be a part of this because you know the history. My wife's from Philly, and I've taught her some things, and she taught me some things about Philadelphia. So she's well aware about Wilmington, Delaware. Believe me, she's well versed, probably more than I am by now. But in any event, I want to start down here to my right. We have Kenyon L. Camper.
Guilty as charged.
And we have Mr. William Sykes Taylor. And they are two role models of mine. And they made us toe the line and to get a good education. They went on to college and did very well. But be that as it may, they were great role models and still are in the community. So I'm going to start with Kenya. Can you just tell me a little bit about your upbringing on the east side of Wilmington, and anything you want to talk about as relates to Wilmington, Howard High School, and so forth and so on, okay?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be on the program. I'm a native Wilmingtonian. I was born on Saturday, March 16th, 1935. This coming Saturday will be March 13th,
Yes.
78. And I was born at the homeopathic hospital, which eventually became the Memorial Hospital.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why this hospital was formed in approximately 1880 was to serve persons regardless of race, status, or anything. It was a homeopathic hospital. So that's where I was born. I have been very active in the Howard High School as a student and an alumnus, and you may not know, many people may not know the fact that before 1869, when Oliver Otis Howard gave $5,000 to the city of Wilmington for the education of minorities, that there was no formal education for African American students. If there was education, it was some private school, or it was a school that was headed by the Quakers. When we think about how things came along, it was really a difficult time. And what happened when General Oliver Otis Howard gave the $5,000, the city of Wilmington met that same challenge, but it took them several more years before they accepted the education of minorities.
Well, you know, I know you did very well in high school, and you went on to Central State and then
Right.
Howard University.
Right.
But, you know, I just remember you so vividly. And of course, I went to high school with your brother when they won the state championship,
Right,
the
1962.
national championship.
1962.
Yes, after my year I graduated, they won the championship of America, which has never been done
Yeah.
for Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they won the Penn Relays, they
Right.
won the nationals. That was unbelievable. But in any event, I know that you had some great teachers during your time period.
Oh, yes.
At Howard High School, you and Sykes, and
Yeah.
Sykes. Well, just tell me, you know, about your growing up on the east side of Wilmington.
Okay, Maurice, thank you for having me on. I was kind of surprised at Lenny's homegoing. I said that's Judge Williams, and we referred to him as Lenny
Yes.
in high school days. and Kenyon approached me, or you approached me in the parking
Yes,
lot.
yes.
Then he cut me inside the church. Well, to start, I'm a little different than Kenyon. I was born on the west side.
Okay. Okay.
Transcended to the east side prior to my 7th birthday.
Okay.
Just by coincidence, I don't know how my dad found the street, the house, but the name was Taylor Street, same my
Yes.
last name.
Yes.
And it's been rather interesting, and I like to tell a lot of people, especially when we make reference to Judge Williams, we were born within 4 blocks of each other. He was in the 200 block of Tapman Street. I was born with the 600 block of Tapman Street, right there, across up the street from St. Peter's School.
Yes.
And matter of fact, coincidentally, it is a rather interesting note that my parents, when they came to Wilmington from the eastern shore of Maryland, Chesterfield and Morgan Neck, a few miles from Chestertown,
Yes.
they lived across the street from Judge Williams' family, where they grew up at. And there at 221, there was a big apartment house there. It was at 3rd and Tatnall, okay? So during that time, going to school, I don't recall seeing Lenny at number 5 school at the time. I don't know whether Kenyon knew that he started number 5 or not. Well, there was another school there, number 21 school.
Yes, I know.
Come off of 2nd Street.
Yes,
I think
yes.
between Jefferson and West thereabouts. And and then also looking at the fact that reading Lenny's obituary, what have you, and the fact that his dad and my dad had something in common. My dad sold ice right alongside the house. He sold wood, and even when we moved to the east side, he did that. And historically, with some of the things around Wilmington, my dad helped to build Delaware Park.
Wow.
I was 2 years old going around after the park was built in 1935. So, I was 2 years old running around when they were open, picking up tickets. Okay. After we moved to the east side, during the war, what we know as Riverfront now was Drayville's shipbuilding yard. He worked there as a safety man. He also helped Bill Alapocas put the water mains through, working for the city of Wilmington. And he worked at Blanca Airfield. So I have 4 other siblings that were born at 601 Tatnall. I was looking at the family growing. We moved east side. My family grew. Kept growing and growing and growing. It was only 5 when we moved to the east side in 42, March of 42. And it grown to 13 to be living up until 1966. They were parents of 20 kids. So it was quite interesting looking at some sort of the relationship or things that they had sort of parents have been involved with, And then with Kenyon. Kenyon was born on a Saturday. I was born on a Saturday. 2 weeks after him, March the 30th. Okay. Kenyon went to Central. I went to Central. Okay. The following year, Joe Johnson, graduate Kenyon, started with Lenny at the University of Delaware. And then Joe dropped out and went to Central the following year, where I and Harmon Carey, Willie Jeffcoat, Tom Young, went to Central. Now, the other thing I look at is the fact where Lenny lived in the 200 block, that was probably 98% back during that time colored. Up where I was, it was about 49% colored. Of course, up on this corner of 7th and Tatnall was a store, and it was run by, and I had an Italian friend that lived next door, was a close friend of my dad, and next door to us was a German printing shop. On the opposite side of the street was 99% Caucasian. And and there again, looking at that and look at things around the city, what have you. When I lived there on Tatnall Street, I was very naive, not even knowing anything about color. By being the oldest in the family, looking for a playmate, there was a kid that lived around the corner of 7th and Tatnall on 7th Street there. We played together. And one day I'll never forget, we were up on the corner and they had some young guys hanging out on the corner. And I heard them say to us, "Hey, let's see y'all box." So we squared off, and I don't know what happened. I think I popped in the nose. And he ran around the corner. I'm standing there, you know. And I see this guy, this fellow come, must have been his dad. So I made tracks for the house. When I hit there, my mom's there, and she said, "Hey, who's there? Don't come in here," you know, and found it and took care of that. But even with Kenya, we had to move to the east side. We attended Bible school together at Easton Church at that time, Ninth and French, where the state building is now.
Yes. I
Okay.
remember that too.
And then during the Bible school, we went to Bible school there, and then a few years later, they start alternating during the summer, Bible school at Easton, and then the next year it would be down Mount Carmel. And then those two churches merged.
Right, sure.
And in Kenyon's class, we'll look at Canon Casson, who officiated at Judge Williams' funeral. He and Kenyon's high school classmates, they
Yes.
graduated together. And Floyd, his late brother, twin brother.